Alright guys, we are not back just yet. We are still waiting on the final semi-finals to finish over on the Korean stream. So if you're curious on what's going on, head over there. I'm pretty sure it's twitch.tv/Gravekeeper, GRAVEKPR? I believe that's correct. If I'm wrong, you guys can correct me. Alright, Cappuccino, question time. I'm gonna drop some questions on you, and you're gonna have to answer them. So, we're coming to the end of the core set's lifespan. We have the Oversky coming out on Tuesday. If you were to give me your top 3 decks that have existed within the core set in competitive play, what would they be? And this can go back into early access.
Oh, wow. You mean from, like, across all the span of, like, nerfs and buffs?
Yep.
Like, all of the... That's actually really hard, because I think one of the strongest decks at the time was Yellow Tempo when it was first getting discovered with the Fanatics, the Chargers. Back when you had Vampire, that was a 7 Faeria, 7/2 grow plus 2 drain based off any target you drain.
Sorry, don't forget Azurai.
Oh my, yeah,
Old
Azurai was insane. It's hard to imagine the power level though of the old Azurai decks, because that was before I was really competitive. I didn't know what was number 1, what was number 2. Like, it was harder for me to judge the meta back then. I just played, like, the old yellow-red control, if you guys remember that. Obelisk Tower. Blood Obelisk. Used to give you Faeria back if you killed a creature, even with events. It was just killing a creature. So, you know, you'd run Soul Drain, Cypher's Wraths, Flame Burst. You run just all the removal, and you would get Faeria returned. And so that was very strong. That's what I first started off getting competitive with way long time ago.
What about Yellow Rush? The old Yellow Rush.
Oh.
Yeah, it's hard to say, because that was, again, it was before I was starting to get competitive. But, like, Yellow Control and Yellow Rush slowly turned into very strong decks when Zealous Crusader was a 5 Faeria 5/5, and then it also grew. That was when, like, even Yellow Control was playing it, because it was just so powerful. So, like, if I were to go back to those stages, I'd say, like, you know, Yellow Tempo was very strong. The red Yellow Control was very strong. But in a more modern day, I think green with Runin right now is more dominant than green's ever been. Like, this is the best green's ever been.
Really?
And it also feels good to be playing green at the moment, because you can run Horse Masters, you can run these cards, and still get favorable trades even against the meta decks. You can either go the route King Dan's did, where you run tons of cheap cards that way you're not as vulnerable to Frogify, or you can go the route that Alvar goes, where you just run tons of mobility, you run the time, you just try and get Runin out as early as possible, and, you know, with all the mobility, you can usually find picks on Chargers or find picks on libraries, and you can usually deal with it.
Wait, do you think the green right now is this green version is stronger than the version with Magda feed?
That's hard to say. Because you used to just rush with green. Like, green was so powerful at one point during Magda, because for some background, Magda used to let you take control of an enemy creature for as long as Magda stayed on the board. It had to be an adjacent target, though. So you would land up the middle. You'd Magda take control of an enemy Verduran force, for example, and then you would just feed on it. So you would feed his creature, get the resources back, and it was the Magda feed combo is what people used to refer to it as. And, I mean, it's hard to say, because green was very strong back then. I'm just not sure if I was aware of the meta enough.
What about Kodama green?
Oh, the Slam green?
Yes.
Back when Slam was a thing? Okay, Slam was very hard to play against, but I don't think it was actually stronger than the current live version of green. Like, I think the live version of green right now is stronger than that, because you have less bad matchups.
Okay. What about Blue Jump? Where do you think Blue Jump in its top peak and its top form, where do you feel that stands as far as strongest Faeria decks go?
I don't know, because I've always felt like yellow was favored. I've always had positive win rates as yellow versus Blue Jump, so I've never seen blue as this dominant deck. It's always been yellow as the dominant deck, and blue is just, you know, the next go-to deck. So with Triton Trainer, it was certainly better than it is now. Like, Triton Trainer was a great buff to it, so during the +2/+2 heyday of Triton Trainer, that was the best version of Blue Jump, but I don't think it was ever tier 1. Or I don't think it was ever better than a yellow tempo deck.
Okay. What about blue when it had protection on Triton Banquet? Old mid-range blue. How do you rate the power level of that deck?
That was so good. At one point, Sweetie, Helios, and I all thought blue sevens was just the number one deck because you would run the Triton Banquets, and it was +1/+1, give a creature protection, and it was 5 Faeria, I believe. So you would, you'd run Heralds, you run Archons, you run Phantasms, and then you just bank with them and get trades, and it was just so effective. So, I mean, during that meta, I think blues sevens was the number one deck. And that was way before Library, for some background. That was like when Yellow Tempo was first getting discovered and people were just starting to play. I think Mochi was just around that time. And I think Windfall was 9 Fairy at the time and gain 12. It was 9, gain 12. So it was still +3, but it was a 9 to start.
Oh yeah, old Windfall as well. Faeria's gone through quite a few changes with its cards, but I feel like every change has been correct. They've identified the issues and then they've combated them. They thought, right, this needs to change, or we're going to get stuck here with this card being too powerful. So the dev teams are very much willing to free up design space if they need to, or just check cards that are too powerful. We had the slam era, right? Cypher slamming stuff. That was nuts. Kodama 7/7 jump with slam. And if you guys don't know what slam did, but slam basically did what Boulder Thrower does now, which kills all adjacent targets. It used to do orb damage, and it became a very green meta during that time, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was so hard to protect your orb because they would either attack your orb and kill everything around your orb, or they would attack your taunt that's in front of your orb, and then it would also hit themselves. So it was like it was so difficult to play around. It had to take a lot of precision, and yeah, one screw up and boom, your board just gets AoE cleared. It was pretty rough.
It's pretty interesting looking back. I mean, for me, Oversky now is, us moving forward with Faeria. New mechanics, Wildlands are going to have a huge influence on how we play and build decks in Oversky and in the future. Wildlands is a huge mechanic for the game. And, I think we're going to have a very different landscape for Faeria going into the future because of that mechanic alone. Mono decks have traditionally been very strong in Faeria, but I find once you give dual color, quad color, tricolor support, these colors, these decks start to really shine, and you want those decks to be good because they offer the most creativity. It's when it comes to deck building, in my opinion, because you get to splash different things together. You can build ideas from different colors and put them together. But I kind of see this tournament as an end of an era for Faeria, for me personally. I don't know if you feel the same.
Well, I think we'll start to see more Yellow Rush, more aggressive mid-range decks, and then we'll see the more rampant decks where, like, you play back, you hope to just land ramp, because that's been the thing that's always been so hard to do, was just have land ramp in your deck, because you'd have, a Twin Soul, and you just can't get to those lands in time. They're already at your orb by then, and then you're just dead. So with these new land ramp cards, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and we actually have our next match available for you guys. It's going to be Killing Time versus Alvar in the 3rd place match. Killing Time and Alvar are currently competing for $500. The loser will go home with $100. So there's still prize money for 4th place. So like Atmaz said before, this is the money round. These are the matches where players are playing for dollar and playing for that prize money, playing for that prestige in the top 4 of the monthly cup. And keep in mind that every player that hits top 4 in our monthly cups will be invited back as an automatic contender for the next monthly cup. So they've got that under their belts as well. So I guess I'm ready. I'm pretty sure Shotgun's ready in the wings. I'm going to be joining Shotgun on this cast. So we're going to get into it. Shotgun, how do you feel this match is going to play out?
I hope it's going to be good. It's probably going to be good. I mean, this is going to be my 3rd time casting Killing Time today. I've only casted Killing Time matches, and so far he's been very impressive. He has some very neat decks, bringing in that Yellow Rush that a lot of other players generally don't bring in. And Alva, in April, he already managed to get the 4th place, so hopefully for him, he'll get the 3rd place today.
Yeah, Alva, he's been whipping up a storm on ladder. I've played him so many times over the last week. Green, obviously being a very strong deck for him in this cup, but also on ladder. Alvar, I believe, was one of the first gods of this month, from what I can tell. Ranma was up there as well. Jongwoo as well. He's been playing some fantastic stuff on stream. Some free wish variants. But yeah, Alvar, has been putting time into this green deck, and it's really paid off.
Yeah, most definitely. And well, the players are selecting their decks now, so we're going right into it. Game number 1 of the third place match.
Yeah, and Killing Time has had a fantastic run in this tournament. I know we teased him a bit.
Yeah, I know. But sadly, Alva is indeed starting out with that green deck, and green is very good at defending. So, but as we've also seen, that KT's yellow deck can actually break through those defenses and can get pretty close. So it might actually become a very close match. It all depends on the start.
Wingate is, I think, a big influence in how aggressive you can be with yellow against green. And Daring Adventurer is going to have a lot of influence as well, especially if you rely on a cluster of creatures to protect your orb. Daring Adventurer is going to be able to punish that. So Wingate going to be very important. Of course, Imperial Drain as well, sapping that Faeria from your opponent, making sure they can't harvest, limits their defensive options.
Yeah, now Alva getting that Wood Elemental, which is a great card to get against this in this matchup, because it allows you to go aggressive with those lands while still building special lands. Because the other one problem is that if you build special lands, you can't block the Rust player with his lands. And if you don't go special lands, then you can't play anything. However, Alva getting that Wood Elemental, and I think he can actually go aggressive here.
Oh yeah, I think this was his plan all along. He had a Horsemaster in hand, knows KT is playing Rush, and he thought, you know what, I'm just going to build down the middle. KT is going to build lands, he wants to come to me, he's going to fill that gap, and then this is going to allow Alvar to make an aggressive push with the Horsemaster, take initiative in the rush, in the race, and yeah, it's going to be really good. Eldwood Embrace as well to empower this Wood Elemental, push 5 damage, and straight away KT on the back foot.
Yeah, now KT did pull the Waryak, and he also has the Daring Adventurer, so he has cards to play. But the problem is, can that win him the race? Because as we can also see, Alva also has a Grove Guardian in his hand. Now he can't play this, but still, even if he can delay it for 1 turn, he can just play that Grove Guardian, delay the creatures that KT has, and just keep on hitting. And KT is on a clock.
I do quite like a Horsemaster aggressively here, because if a buff is picked up, you have lethal next turn. And it's pretty much worth doing this. Even if KT has Soul Drain, you're still quite far ahead. And it can actually allow your other Horsemaster to run down. There is, unfortunately, the Soul Drain ripped off the top. But it is unfortunate, but if that Soul Drain wasn't picked up and you did pick up the buff, you just win the game really quickly. And I like these kind of lines that competitive players take. They just analyze their outs and try and take the victory when it's in their grasp.
Indeed. Now, he has to Soul Drain here, otherwise he's going to take a huge risk. And I would say that we'd also see the Oradra Monk being played here. Even collecting from those cards. Maybe he'll get a Prayer. Nope, he gets another Monk.
Soul Drain on the Horsemaster, going to give KT some breathing room, and now KT's in a fantastic position to apply a lot of pressure. Alvar, Faeria Staff, not enough resources to develop one of the creatures in hand, so probably needs to dig for another buff just to set up a 2-turn lethal.
And this is the problem with counter-rushing as a green player, because the thing is that his deck wasn't built for rush, while KT's deck is. So, as you can see now, KT managed to stop a little bit of the aggression, managed to get his own aggression in, and suddenly Alva, he only gets 3 Faeria a turn. He doesn't have prayers. He does have the guidance though, so he can heal it up. But still, there's 10 damage around his orb.
You definitely go for the power up here. I think you have no choice. You just set up 2-turn lethal. All right, there's a follower. That is not going to be enough just yet. It's going to need a soul drain to go along with this to allow the killing of his own creature to be able to push more damage, and that is not what you want to see off the top of your deck, especially if you need to build a land to apply more damage this turn. But there's a soul drain.
Oh, soul drain, but can he actually still do it? Because I think he's still one land too short to maneuver.
Do apologize, I did have the names incorrectly on the versus stream. I'm just going to change that now.
Yeah, so he's at 2, and now he can't really do anything.
Yeah, and
so that's GG.
Yep, that's
Alva wins.
Counter rush from Alva, very strong there, playing to his best sides, and that's a sign of a very good card game player.
Getting that soul drain just a turtle. If he got it off the top deck, he would have won.
Yeah, and that's something Alva probably took into account. You know, he'd committed to this aggressive line, and he knew that soul drain's probably a loss here, but it doesn't matter. You need to play to your best win condition, not playing not to lose here. You're playing to win, and fantastic play from Alva, just proving how much time he's put into this green deck.
Yep, and Katie now coming with the blue deck to counter the green. However, as we've seen before, blue doesn't always counter green in this meta.
That's true. I mean, we've seen a very strong performance from King Dance's green list. Now, Alva going the more traditional route with mono green. He does have the spiders as well, so he can deal with Battletoads. So that does really help when dealing with these blue decks. But I still want to say KT's got the advantage here matchup-wise. Especially if you can get some early double collection going off on the left side and get those Colossus down and force Alva into a more defensive position.
Yeah, and he has a great start with the Battletoads. Also has the Gabriel Commander that he can put down next turn if he likes. And already has a Forbidden Library in hand. However, I don't think we'll see that for a couple of turns because he needs the Faeria collection. But there's the Spider.
Good old Spider-Man.
Spider, one of the reasons why green is still doing so well against blue, even if it's an unfavorable matchup. And Katie getting his Gyarados in his hand. Right now, not very good.
Yeah, not really helpful against green in general. Spiders are going to be a main target with Gyarados if you want to one-shot them. Aurora here, very powerful, going to be able to leverage the right side, and this makes the Horsemaster play a little weaker, but there is a Runin's Guidance, and that is going to allow a trade if Alva wants it, but I don't really like it. If that was an Elderwood Embrace, I would definitely say Horsemaster, Elderwood, and then you're actually 1 damage out of reach of that Aurora, but now you're going to take a draw instead.
Yeah, a Horsemaster with Rune's Guidance, I wouldn't do it because it's a 1-for-1 trade, basically. Yes, he gets to collect on the way, and yes, he gets to get another creature, but that doesn't really give him much board control. However, this Veteran Force can actually put up a lot of pressure against this Frog and against this Aurora.
I like Veteran Force here, Oversky the Grove Guardian, and tactical move back to his Orb. I'm not sure. Oh, to maybe dodge the commander.
Yeah, dodge the commander and dodge any potential land movement.
Yeah, Sunken Towers and...
Towers need. He's just going to trade both in, play the Forbidden Library. That's the... Yeah, he has to play it on the left side because he has to fear the... what is called? The teleport.
Collar. Yes.
The Grove Collar. He's actually going to just play both of them.
I think you can do this against green, 100%.
Yeah.
You basically accelerate your Faeria and a card at hand so much that you can overwhelm green very easily. And if a teleport did come down, you're only losing 1 library, and it gives you some time to react. But Grove Guardian to come down here, try to apply some pressure. Maybe Alva... If he can develop an aggressive forest next to the Orb, he may strongly consider just racing the libraries at this point.
Well, he drew the 7 cost, so this Gaming Command is now a flying 5/3. I bet we're just going to see another Gabriel Commander being put down, and that's that. No need to phantasm anything.
He's still got one library, so things are pretty good here.
Exactly.
So I guess one of these libraries are going to get taken out by the Grove Guardian, but I think that the worst thing for Alvar right now, he didn't draw an aggressive creature, but the Feed the Forest is going to allow him to dig deeper. I would like to see an aggressive forest this turn next to Katie's Orb, and there's a spider as well, so he can even take out the 4/2.
Spooder, the bane of blue.
Frogs don't like spiders, apparently.
No, and neither do, fishmen? Whatever the Gabrians are. Merfolk. So yeah, this Deepwood Stalker might actually just eat one of those Gabrian commanders, and he kind of has to kill the Forbidden Library. Or at least one of them, and set up to kill the next one next turn. Because Green just can't allow Forbidden Libraries to stay online for so long. Gets another Grove Guardian, which actually is not bad. It's a lot of pressure. So yeah, Spider coming down, killing the 4/2 before it can become any bigger. Plays another Grove Guardian, very aggressive. And Katie, well, he has a lot of Faeria, and he has a Garrodon in his hand, but the Garrodon doesn't kill anything. And I don't know what happened to Aqua. He's suddenly all silent, so I'm going to solo cast for a little bit here to figure out what happened to him.
I am here.
Anyways,
I am back. My apologies. But yeah, I think the Garrodon's not too bad. It's not great. I guess you want to make sure you can kill a few things first. Oh, he's actually going to go for a more aggressive line. I think I like this a little more. Yeah,
he wants to Faeria starve Alvar right now. Because Alvar only has a creature next to one well instead of the two, so...
Surely you play the commander here in the center of your orb just to set up a potential Garrodon next turn?
You could do that. However, what you could also maybe do is just play Mirror Phantasm and Phantasm the 5/2 so that it doesn't die to a spider.
Yeah, interesting choices here.
And start putting up pressure.
I think I think I prefer Commander because I feel that Commander offers the highest snowball potential for you while you're this far behind. Because basically the Grove Guardians represent so much damage.
He decides to do neither.
And that's lethal. Unfortunately.
Yeah, it is.
And this is why I wanted to see the Commander come down.
Yep.
And Cappuccino has said this time and time again through this event. No one's respecting these Horsemasters. You know, they're putting in so much work.
Nobody's respecting the Horsemasters or the buffs. Like, Green can do a shit ton of damage to your orb, and that's it. KT surrendering. And, well, it's looking kind of bad for KT. He still has that one more deck left.
You know, I have a theory. I have a theory about Alvar's Green. Now, I'm surprised to not see Alvar in the finals, and simply because of how dominant his green deck has been today. But Strudel is running that Angry Red deck. Maybe that Angry Red deck was an easy check for this green list.
It could be, because Angry Red has a lot of... The thing about Angry Red is it has a lot of... cheap creatures, a lot of creatures that buff themselves or become cheaper. And, well, yeah, there are Voice of Truth targets for the Firebringers, but even then, like, you still have to deal with the Crumbling Golems, and you still have to deal with the Zero Faeria 4/4s of the Hate Seeds.
Yeah, the Crumbling Golems are a big buff for Angry Red. Basically can go toe-to-toe with Virgin Forces, very important. Fire Elemental's a little vulnerable to spiders, but at least they trade with the spiders. And that's actually, I think, a big deal. Because if you keep your spiders alive, it's mono green.
Well,
there's Runin
coming online. So, and it's even a buffed Runin. So yeah, Runin's going to terrorize Alvars. As we've seen before, it's such a good card in the mirror matchup.
It's actually really tough. for Alvar here. He gets to clear it. Well, actually, does he? No, he doesn't have Faeria for double Elderwood here.
No.
Feed the Forest is quite interesting here.
Well, to be honest, I wouldn't even feed the Forest. There's no use. I would most likely just try to attack into the Grove Guardian. And then maybe, let's see. Oh no, wait, that's not enough.
You can't stop developing Forest here. No way. Just because you have Firing Golem.
Yeah, no, he has to still start developing Forest, especially when he has a feed for that Faeria Golem. But the thing is, you want Runen to die, and you want to have it deal as much damage as it can. So apparently, Katie not very happy with his hand.
I don't blame him really, because it's not very proactive, because there's not much you could do here. If he could at least kill the Grove Guardian, it's fine. But because he just sets up the Wood Elemental clear, but it looks like Alvar's just going to power up. Kill it. Yeah, he doesn't even kill it with this power up, and allows Alvar to push an aggressive Forest, which is going to be very important.
Yeah, however, this Runen, it will be able to just stall him for quite some time, and he has the Faeria because of the Faeria Golem Feed the Forest combo. Yeah, and he also still has the Spider in his hand, so it's not actually looking this bad just yet for Katie.
Yeah, the Faeria Golem feed is going to give him a lot of breathing room. Without that, the Runen would come down, and then we'd see the Runen die again, and then Katie would be Faeria starved, which is the worst position for Runen to be in. But, you know, feed the Forest on the Faeria Golem. It's going to give him the resources he needs to stay in this match.
Oh, he's go. Oh
wow, he didn't go for it.
Well, he didn't go for it.
This is I hate to say it, but this is a huge error, in my opinion. Just simply because now you kill Runen, and then what does Katie do next turn?
Yeah, then next turn he still has to wait 2 turns until he can finally defeat the Faeria Golem. You have to use the feed in a way when you are basically going to be Faeria starved because you don't have any board control. That was the perfect moment, and that moment is gone. Sure, he gets a big, giant 8/8 Runen, but he's running out of time. The Alva is just going to go aggressive, and Katie is on the clock, and he might be shoving his cards like, yeah, I can't do anything, and he's just surrendering.
I think it was, like I said, the not feeding there was a misplay, simply because you never came back. You gave your opponent initiative, he gets to push 5 damage for free, and develop another threat. And then what does Runen do? Runen doesn't do anything. It basically just puts a body down and says,
to be honest, I think Katie was just tilting the whole game. Maybe he was salty about previous losses, but I was not expecting him to behave this way. I would have expected him to at least try, but looked like he didn't even do that. He was shoving his cards like, oh, look at my hand, it's so bad. But it wasn't even that bad. He had ways to come back, but he didn't take it.
I think one thing to consider is that fatigue does come into account at this later stage of the tournament, and you could be an amazing player, but if you can't handle fatigue, your play is going to dip, and you're never going to hit that grand finals or hit that win, and that's what separates competitive players, I think. Yeah,
and losing like 2 games in a row will hurt you, psychically. You will feel more down. That's why it's so important to win the first game. Not just because you can keep your deck and you get the first win, you got the initiative, but also because losing is never fun and it can affect a player. And some players are just really bad at handling losses. And apparently, Katie had one of those moments, sadly.
Unfortunate for Katie. Cappuccino, what are your thoughts on this match that we just saw? This murder from Alvar with his mono green.
Yeah, I didn't get to take as many notes on that match because I was watching. I went to get a snack during the break, and I came back and it's 3-0. Alvar just crushing with this green list. I don't know. Maybe you have to fill me in. What was the secret? What managed to do so well?
Runin and Wood Elemental, I would say. Alvar managed to get a Wood Elemental start every game, I believe, and it just allowed him to accelerate so quickly. Katie actually had a moment there where I think he was just a bit overwhelmed, maybe just a bit frustrated, and didn't see a line. Basically, he lost his Runin, but it didn't really matter because he had the Faeria Golem feed to give him the favor to replay Runin basically for another 2 turns, minimum. But he ended up going for a spider into Runin again, and then Runin died, and he lost initiative and then lost the match.
Oh, wow. How's the movement been, by the way? Was Alvar getting a lot of Horsemasters, or was Pro Colors coming out? Does he run 2 Horsemaster, by the way?
At least 2. We actually saw Horsemaster having tremendous influence in that in the one game. Basically, Horsemaster won the match for him. And I did actually mention it. I said, you've been saying that people not respecting Horsemaster enough. And Alvar, I think, has proven how powerful that card is.
Yeah, I mean, mobility is so strong in green. Just being able to get those trades on, trade into a blue creature before they have a chance to Frogify trade into yellow charger before they have a chance to use the event synergies, get towards those libraries faster. I mean, it makes sense, and Alvar is just dominating.
All right, guys, that is the end of the third place match. We have Alvar taking $500, third place, and then we have Katie taking $200, sorry. $100 from his bounty and $100 from his fourth place match. So up next, we will have some Oversky for you guys. We're going to have our Oversky preview, show match. We're just going to get that prepared, and then we'll show you that. And then after the show match, we will conclude the monthly cup with the grand final. So don't go anywhere. We will be back very shortly.
Discover the Adventure Pouch Oversky, featuring a first-of-its-kind co-op campaign. Team up with either friends or powerful Faeria characters and discover a ton of new content, including more than 30 new cards. Join now to experience the Emperor's daily challenges and reap exclusive rewards. Explore the Oversky and reap the rewards today.